I didn't want to go to the dinner party. It was one of those gatherings where everyone pretends to be more successful, happier, and more fulfilled than they really are. Expensive wine. Carefully plated food. Conversations polished for performance. But my wife insisted. "It'll be fun," she said. "Just relax." So I went. 8 of us sat around a long oak table in her sister Amanda's house. Candlelight flickered. Laughter bounced between walls. Glasses clinked. Someone put on soft jazz in the background. For the first hour, everything was normal. Work stories. Vacation plans. Light teasing. Then the conversation shifted, as it often does, toward relationships. One couple joked about arguing over Netflix choices. Another talked about balancing schedules and kids. And that's when my wife decided to speak. She laughed, swirling her wine. "Well, at least you two still have energy," she said. She glanced at me. "We're basically roommates at this point." A few chuckles. I forced a polite smile. She continued. "I mean, honestly, our intimacy life? Practically non-existent." The laughter grew louder. My chest tightened. Public humiliation disguised as humor. I didn't respond. I just sipped my drink. She leaned in, enjoying the attention. "Maybe I married an old man early," she joked. That got a bigger reaction. I still said nothing. Because reacting would make me look defensive. And I had already learned something important. Never wrestle for dignity in front of an audience. Amanda, her sister, stopped smiling. She looked at my wife carefully. "You're really going to say that?" she asked. My wife blinked. "Relax. It's a joke." Amanda set her glass down. "No," she said calmly. "It's not." The table grew quiet. My wife shifted. "What's that supposed to mean?" Amanda's voice stayed steady. "It means you left out the part where he scheduled doctor appointments with you. Or the part where he tried counseling." I stared at her. I hadn't expected this. Amanda continued. "Or the part where the problem wasn't him." Silence thickened. My wife's smile disappeared. "That's enough," she said sharply. But Amanda didn't stop. "You told me about the stress. The medication. The anxiety. The way you shut down emotionally months ago. Now nobody moved. Nobody drank. Nobody spoke. The air changed completely." Amanda looked around the table. He didn't neglect their intimacy. He supported her through something difficult. Privately. Respectfully. She turned back to my wife. "And he never once complained about it." My wife's face flushed red. The joke had collapsed. The spotlight shifted. I finally spoke. Calmly. Quietly. "That wasn't necessary," I said to Amanda. She gave a small nod. "Maybe not," she replied. But neither was the joke. I stood. Not dramatically. Just enough to reset the room. "It's fine," I said. "Marriage has seasons." I placed my napkin on the table. Some are louder than others. Then I stepped outside onto the patio for air. A few minutes later, my wife joined me. She didn't look confident anymore. She looked shaken. "I didn't think she'd say that," she whispered. I leaned against the railing. "You didn't think anyone would know," I replied gently. She wiped at her eyes. I was trying to fit in. Everyone was joking. I nodded. At my expense. Silence. She looked down. "I'm sorry." And I believed she meant it. But apologies don't erase exposure. Or embarrassment. Or the realization that someone you protect privately might trade that protection publicly for a laugh. We drove home quietly. Later that night, she spoke again. You didn't defend yourself. I looked at her. I didn't need to. Why not? Because truth doesn't require performance. She cried then. Not loudly. Just enough to release the weight of recognition. Here's what people misunderstand about moments like that. The shocking truth wasn't about intimacy. It wasn't about medical issues. It wasn't about embarrassment. It was about character. One person protected the relationship privately. Another exposed it publicly. And a third restored balance when it mattered. Weeks later, things improved between us. More communication. More respect. More awareness. Because sometimes growth doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from uncomfortable truth arriving at the table uninvited. And staying long enough to be heard.